Civic Summit is made possible in part by Texas Mutual Insurance, providing workers' compensation for Texas employers, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, supporting American Graduate. Let's make it happen, a public media initiative.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Maggio. This is Stop the Drop, engaging students in their futures. And tonight, we're hoping to figure out why students drop out of school, what causes students to initially lose interest in school or in a particular class, and what can we as adults do to support our young people more. To get some answers, we have compiled a wonderful room of experts, students, and educators. We also want to hear from area high school. So these are some questions that we posed to the students prior to this event. So here's what they had to say about what causes them to lose interest in school or a class. Let's listen.
The number one thing that causes me to lose interest is usually I haven't eaten well enough or I don't get along with the teacher.
What causes me to lose interest in school is like mostly the dress code, really. I just like to go to school and dress the way I want to.
I don't have the kind of support that others have because the English learners, they don't get as much support from other people.
Waking up early. Probably getting up early.
I gotta wake up at 6 and it's too much pressure, and then I have to drive here and all the traffic, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it on time.
It's not really the whole waking up early. I'm pretty used to it because of work, but just knowing that we're gonna do the same writing book, like copying down and all that, I want something different.
Nothing really catches my attention anymore. Mostly it would be fun, you know what I'm saying? Like I would enjoy going to it and like learning and stuff like that. But after a while, it just seemed like it was just only about passing. And
you just have all this pressure knowing that you have to pass.
Like I want to know knowledge, you know, not just to pass and try to see if I can get to the next level. Like it's not a video game.
Everybody has different situations, like kids or are struggling at home.
And now we want to hear from some of the folks in the audience tonight. But first, I want you to meet someone who's playing a very important role tonight, Mr. Ronald Elliott, who is a senior at Pflugerville High School. He's right over here, and he's going to be talking with the audience and helping me host this evening and getting all of your input. Thanks for doing this tonight, Ronald. Now, we want to have our first expert, Tiffany Woody, and you are with the Council on At-Risk Youth. You're youth advisor there. Correct. What did you think, Tiffany, about what the students said on this video?
I think I hear a lot of the same stories from those students. Getting up too early, not being able to keep the clothes on that they want to wear, and just a lack of engagement in the classroom too, because they're getting too bored with the subject, or teachers moving too fast along for them to keep up with the teachers. So I hear a lot of the same stories that were shared today.
What about this getting up early stuff? That's kind of a reality of our world today. There's really nothing, can we change that in some ways?
I don't know that we can change having to get up, because I have to get up early in the morning. I think that's going to be something that kids are going to always have.
It's getting them ready for adulthood, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. What about any of you students? Do you want to talk about some of the reasons you lose interest in school, or you get disillusioned, or you might not make it to class? Yes. Go ahead and stand up. Yeah, and tell me your name.
I'm Winifred Evans. I'm a student at ACC.
Wonderful. And where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at Bastrop High School and Smithville High School for some time.
Okay, so you obviously graduated and you're well on your way to success going to Austin Community College. What were some of the obstacles that stood in your way? What were some of the things that caused you to lose interest in school?
Mainly it was a lot of family problems at home, but then going into school and not having any teachers recognize that. So inefficient bonds with the teachers and them not recognizing, okay, there's something wrong with the student and just kind of passing me by, you know, and there's a lot of other students like that who just kind of get passed by. So I think one of the big things is not being recognized when there's something wrong and not having adequate mentors to say, okay, we need to get this student help and get them on their feet.
Did you feel like you were just kind of a number, another student, and you didn't have enough one-on-one attention?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just another student in the back of the class.
And how did you decide to start a college career?
Well, I took a lot of time off of high school. I almost dropped out. And I decided after having my first child, I'm a mother, that I have to do something with myself because I can't live like this, because once you come into the reality of adulthood, you realize you can't do much if you don't have that next step of education.
Thank you. We're glad that you're doing so well. Ronald, I think that we need to hear from some of our students. Who else has some comments about what causes you to lose interest in school? I know that you guys, yes. We're going to come right back over here. Tell me your name.
I'm Hennessy Green.
Hi, Hennessy.
And I just feel like it's more of a fashion show in appearance. It's not really about learning in school anymore. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
You feel the pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, and that overshadows the actual learning?
yeah, not necessarily. It's just like that catches people's attention more than school. You get what I'm saying?
Thank you. Any other students? Ronald's got his microphone. Go ahead, Ronald.
Yes, I do. Here I have Michael Gutierrez from PACE, and he wants to comment on the question.
Yes, I think the main reason for kids not wanting to go to school anymore is I think all the academic testing that they're doing. And it drains the students out very much with just frequent testing and seeing how the kids are doing inside academically. And mentally, it destroys the student.
Do any of our educators want to weigh in on the whole push to test so much? I know that can be a bit discouraging for not only the students, but for the educators. Anybody want to weigh in on that? Any of the educators? Yes.
All right, my name is Amber Martin, and I'm a teacher at Ojeda Middle School in Del Valle. I heard a lot of comments about pacing, as you were mentioning earlier. With the high-stakes testing, it becomes a great burden on teachers to have to go through a certain amount of standards and teach certain objectives, whether or not the student is able to actually learn it. And unfortunately, that pressure is coming from the top down. And we know as educators, that's not best practice to force concepts on students that aren't ready to receive those ideas, and to have to push the pacing in an unrealistic way and not have the opportunity to really go back and reteach those things, or give students an opportunity to see how this is relevant to their life, give them simulations instead of just a bunch of text or something.
In an ideal world, what are some ways that you would like to help students stay engaged in school?
Personally, I really believe that the relationship component is pivotal, and it is on both ends. I believe that that's really important. I also believe that engaging families in the process of their education is going to be an extremely important thing. If they don't have the support at home, or maybe if their parents feel disenfranchised because they don't speak the language, so they can't support their students with their learning, those are huge problems that we face, especially here in Texas. And of course, early literacy, I think, will help access to education.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You mentioned, something that one of the students in the video mentioned, and that is English language learners, students for whom English is not the first language, needing more support. Who wants to talk more about that? Anybody involved in a program that helps students who English is not their first language, or any students who would like to comment? Anybody here, English is not your first language? Would you like to talk about it? No? Would you? Okay, Ronald, have at it.
Good afternoon, my name is Joseph. So English was never my first language, as you obviously know. Spanish was, and I didn't learn English until I was in middle school. So I didn't learn English because I went to Keeling Magnet Middle School, and I pretty much had to learn it all under a month to be able to properly communicate with all my teachers. So it was pretty much like a crash course where I was constantly in anxiety, constantly worrying about grades and everything, while still not being able to communicate properly with all my teachers.
Thank you. Who else would like to talk about some of the obstacles that stand in your way? I know we have a big group of students from Garza High School here. And Garza is kind of an alternative school for maybe students who don't like the traditional education experience. You want to talk about what are some of the obstacles that you find with a traditional education? Tell us your name.
My name is Catherine. With traditional education, what I found at my old school was that a lot of people said with communication, I didn't get attention that I needed. And I was always an average student at first. And so no one thought I needed help. When I would ask so many questions in class, my teacher would ask me, how about you talk to me after class? I go after class, sorry, I'm leaving. So I have one day a week that I tutor. And I have a lot of questions. I get scared. I want to do my work right, and I want to know what I'm doing, and I want to ask questions. And that was one thing that held me back so much, is that I was afraid to ask questions. I may have asked a dumb question, which that shouldn't be in anyone's vocabulary.
That's right. There are no dumb questions.
And my teachers would treat me like I didn't know the entire assignment. They would start from the beginning when I asked one clarification question. And again, not being someone who was always, again, I say at first, because before I left my school, I had around 300 absences because I just completely stopped going. I wanted to drop out because I felt like I didn't belong and I wasn't cared about, because I couldn't even ask a question in class without, oh, you can stay after class. No, I needed one answer, and I was making fine grades, but nobody wanted to give me the time because I seemed like an okay student.
So what's made the difference at Garza? What's done differently at Garza High School that's kept you interested and motivated and excited to be here tonight?
Well, first of all the teachers at Garza really care. Your first day, they sit you down, they get very intimate with you. And that's an advantage that we have with having so few students and so many amazing teachers, but you get a connection and you still want to go back and see them. Every time I just finished, Miss Howard is somewhere, my old physics teacher is somewhere. I just finished her class, but I still want to go and see her every day because she became a part of my life. And again, and also Dr. Webb, you do interviews.
The principal there at Garza.
She's our principal. She's amazing. And you interview with her or our AP or assistant principal, and she tells you everything about her. And I'm on her student advisory board, and she opens up and tells us amazing things, and we get to know her. Versus at my old school, I didn't know anybody. And you get told that you're cared about. You get asked, how can I teach this to you? Do you need clarification? You get asked, maybe if this project doesn't work for you, would you like an alternative project? Would you like an alternative assignment? At all times, you get asked, do you need my help? You're not expected just to know. None of us are gonna know every single thing we're taught. We're gonna have questions. And my teachers now understand, and it felt like before nobody understood that just because I make a B on the assignment, that doesn't mean I understand. That just means that maybe I could do it, but I didn't internalize it. I didn't learn anything. And here, all they focus about is learning and mastery and how much you can achieve.
And what grade are you in now?
I'm a senior now.
And what are your plans after high school?
I really would like to go into social work. I also have opportunities to work for marketing at Chipotle, so
Well, they need some marketing right now.
So I'm a little torn between that. Okay. But I would love to go into CIS. We have, yeah.
And are you going to college then after this? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much for chatting with us. Looks like you have someone to talk to.
Yes, I do have a student from American Youth Works. You can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andy Ortiz. Like you said, I go to American Youth Works. It's an obstacle for me was thinking that nothing that I was taught in regular school could be used in real life. And so I felt like doing the schoolwork was absolutely useless. But whenever it came to American Youth Works, you go to school for 4 hours and you get what you need to get done. And there's no grades. They just help you out with however you need it. And then for the other 4 hours, you go and you work for CVB, which is a youth build program where we build houses for the homeless and stuff. So we feel like we're doing really good work while we're trying to learn and cope with having to do school at the same time.
Very good. Thank you so much. American Youth Works is a fantastic program. You guys have really stressed the importance of adult mentors in your life and someone there to let you know they care. Thank you so much for the great input on the first question. The next question we pose to students is, have you ever dropped out? Do you know anyone who has? And why did they drop out? So we want to hear from the students and what they had to say, and then we'll turn back to all of you for some input. Let's listen.
I know a couple people who dropped out, and yeah, they're not doing real good right now.
I haven't dropped out of school, but my brother actually did. And he went back though, but he dropped out because he had to go get a job or whatever, because he had a kid. Yeah, I know a lot of people, even family that's dropped out, they just don't choose it. They think it's just not for them.
My mom, my aunt, and my other aunts and uncles. My dad dropped out of high school. They had to help my grandma with her job.
I was really close to dropping out in school.
I actually was thinking about dropping out a lot of times.
I had truancy issues in the past.
I had a lot of problems.
There's actually quite a few people I know that like tried dropping out or dropped out, and they're not doing good now today.
I did drop out of school, but that's only because like I was childish and immature at the time, and like I felt I wanted to do whatever I want. I didn't like how the teachers told me what I could or couldn't do, how I could or couldn't dress. I didn't like that at all, and I was just like, you know what, forget all y'all, and I'm not gonna deal with this.
But most of them, they end up coming back.
They want to take on like street life and stuff like that, but me, I see something better for myself in the future, so I can't drop out of school. The only way that I'm really gonna actually better myself is actually if I put myself to school, like go through school and go to college and all that, and try to actually make something of myself.
So when I look at them, it just influences me to do better for me.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to flip burgers the rest of my life, so I want something better, you know?
Some great comments, very, very insightful, and it sounds like that some of the students are staying in school because they've seen what happens to their friends who drop out. I'm joined by Dr. Linda Webb, who is the principal at Garza High School, and what do you hear from your students? Because some of your students have thought about dropping out from traditional school. So what are they telling you about the reasons they've thought about dropping out, and what do you do to keep them still interested?
Well, I think one of the things we've got to remember that every individual is different. Every student's different. And so I hear everything from, I'm bored. Things aren't going fast enough, and I want to do something different, or things just don't fit. They've had situations in life where they've lost parents. They've had situations in life where things happened and their education was interrupted, and because of the traditional system don't have time to catch back up. There's so many reasons why kids drop out, but I'm going to go back to what's been mentioned, and I'm going to say it again. It's relationships that you build with students. It's that they know that you care, and it's not about staying on schedule. It's about staying in tune with students. And when we can do that, we can make schedules work if that's what we have to do, and we can make students aware. Every student who graduates from Garza fills out an application for college. Our expectation may not be that you go to college, but we are going to help you with the portfolio. We're going to put it together, and you learn all that, and hopefully by the time you're at that point, you're ready to make those decisions. But life happens to kids just like it happens to adults. But I think what we don't think about is adults don't realize that this train for students is moving in education. They don't have the opportunity to stop and wait. 10th grade's going to go by. And so we've got to help them either catch back up or help them get ahead. There's some students here with me today, some awesome kids here from Garza. I'm so excited for you to be here. I think they can tell you different stories of why they thought about dropping out, because we bring kids back who have dropped out and kids who are in danger of dropping out. They need options. Luckily, AISD gives options for kids that are free. And they can come and have a different way. We have a self-paced curriculum, which kind of gets into the can we push the testing. So kids have a lot of reasons, a lot of them around family, a lot of them around they're bored, a lot of them around they just need extra help to get caught up. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the questions I want to ask the group and get a conversation going, how can we improve the way we communicate the importance of staying in school? Let me say that again. How can we, as educators and as students, improve the communication and get the message out that it is very important to stay in school? Who wants to take that one on? Yes.
Well, for me,
Tell me your name.
Billy Poindexter. Okay, Billy. Well, for me, growing up as a kid in a one-parent household, my dad always stressed for me to go to college because he wanted stuff to be better for me. And when growing up in that, you get the sense that you need to. It's better to go to college and get a better degree plan so that you can take care of yourself and also take care of your family if you need to. I've always had that moral of the sense that why get into a relationship that gets serious if you can't take care of that person. So I've always considered education to be my number one top priority.
Okay, and where are you now?
I am in my second year at Austin Community College working on my certificate in computer software engineering programming.
Wonderful. Well, you'll have a great job when you graduate. Do you have some? Who else wants to talk about ways to improve communication and telling kids why it's so important to stay in school? Yes, we have someone way up. You can walk to the end of this aisle right here.
Or you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Elisa Hernandez. I go to Pace High School in Pflugerville, Texas. Another way that educators can get a hold on kids is by getting hands-on. Get involved in our lives, make sure our grades aren't dropping. Something could be going on, and just having someone for moral support to help you through it helps a lot. I've been through that. I've been, family problems, I got pregnant and I lost my baby. It was just hard, and my educator here, she literally took care of me. She has been my second mother, and she is just the best in my life. She's my number one.
Very good. I heard a lot of the students in the video say, well, school's not for everyone. I'm wondering what the educators in the room would like to say to that comment. School's not for everyone. Who'd like to take that on? Students or educators in the room? School's not for everyone. Yes. And introduce yourself, Maribel.
My name is Maribel Montiel RJL. I am with Communities in Schools of Central Texas.
And you want to explain real briefly what Communities in Schools does, as I know it's a great program in our community.
So we help students stay in school. We empower them to be successful in school and in life. And so that can be helping them keep up with academic issues like attendance, grades, credits, making sure they're on track to graduate, or all of the things that other folks have mentioned that are really difficult for students, like poverty and trauma and teen pregnancy and parenting. There are so many things that our students are facing nowadays that school is not always the number one priority, which I think is really difficult for some folks to understand. We think you're teenagers, you're supposed to be in school, but they have a multitude of factors going on outside of school and in school that can make that really difficult. One of the most important things is making it individualized. I think folks have said it's not like, I don't want to go to college. I've heard some of my students say that. And we think like, okay, you go from middle school to high school and college is next, right? But there are some students that's definitely not the plan for them, whether it's vocational school, technical schools, or just getting a job so that they can help support families. And maybe that might be down the line. So I think really letting the students have the opportunity to say what's important to them and helping them meet those goals instead of saying like, this is what you should do, because we don't know what's always best for them.
Very good. Who else wants to respond to that question? Yes, come on over here. You look like you're a student at Garza. Yes.
I'm Juanita Escovedo, and although I think that maybe the traditional sense of learning isn't for everyone, I think that there's opportunities to make it special to you. I think that maybe school may not feel the best for everyone, but knowledge is for everyone. And there's different ways to obtain it. And I know that I personally go to a school where they make it, like physics isn't my strongest subject, but
it wasn't mine either.
It's not the funnest thing. But my teacher, if I'm not feeling an assignment, will make it special for me and like make it fun for me. So
maybe school can be for everyone if it's tailored a certain way to meet those needs. All right, thank you so much. Anybody else? Yes, we have a couple of people up here. You know what? I'll run up there because, you've got one right here? Go for it.
All right, I have Courtney Jones here. She's a social worker. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, I am with American Youth Works with the Youth Build program, and we do understand and know that education after high school is not for everyone, and so we really focus on our young people having their education but learning some type of job skills training as well, and also serving their community at the same time. So we really focus on our young people being able to get some type of job certification while they're in our program, and we understand that they need something rather than nothing. And so we want to make sure that our young people, we tell them it's not if you graduate, it's when you graduate. What are you going to do next with your life? And so we really focus on their skill set and also their ability to be able to do certain things in their life, because they have a lot of different skills, but they don't know how to tap into those skills. So we really try to focus on how can we elevate the skills that you already have and find you some mentors and some internship opportunities before you go into the college realm, because sometimes they don't think that they can even achieve college, but when we try to get them that transition between internships and college, then they feel like they can do something with their lives.
We're so appreciative of the wonderful works at YouthWorks. And also, Eastside Memorial is a high school that's kind of turned itself around. We have a student here. Tell us your name.
My name is Ivan Gabriel Cantu.
And what did you want to comment about today?
I wanted to comment about like how the people say like certain knowledge, like and things like that, and then why people drop out and why they do certain things and why they stay in school and not stay in school. Well, my older sisters and my older brothers, they both dropped out of school because one, they just thought school wasn't meant for them, and they just thought about the money. And that's it. So what they usually do was just like work and work and work because they wanted to support my mom. They wanted to help out around and do what they need to do. So while I'm in school, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to stay in school. I'm trying to get the second of the youngest to graduate and get a diploma as well.
So you're kind of helping to parent a bit yourself.
I'm trying to like develop more and more, like mind state and like physical wise. And I'm trying to do my best. I wanted to drop out of some certain points, but like I also thought I don't want to end up lower than how far I already came, surpassed my older brothers and my older sisters. And like, since I'm so young, why do it then? And I could keep going and going until I reached a certain goal, until I could get to where I need to in life. Like college is a certain thing I would love to do and like to get to and like experience. There's certain feel that like I've done something and I got somewhere and that like I accomplished something, basically.
Well, we think you're going to do it. Thank you so much. There's been some complaints that there's too much emphasis on prevention and not enough on recovery. In other words, there's not enough attention paid to the students who have dropped out to get them back engaged. Who could talk about some of the things in place that help students re-enter and continue their education once they've dropped out? Who can tackle that one in the audience? Any student in here that happened to? Yes.
My name is Kyla Ramos, and I dropped out for 4 months of my last junior year. I'm a senior now, and I should be graduating, starting college next year, hopefully. But my reason for dropping out was the lack of support. I think parents don't realize that what you say can actually physically hurt you and mentally affect your mind state, like how you think about school or your life, period. So I feel I dropped out because I didn't have the support. I heard a lot of negativity, a lot of, you are, but probably not, or, you're probably going to end up like the rest of your family, and all my family honestly is in jail, and I don't see myself in jail ever. So I don't believe that. And so it's just the negative things, like it really does affect me. It really did affect me. It made me feel low. It made me feel like giving up, like nobody cared, so why should I, But then I realized that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or what anybody else has to say, because it's up to you. And this is your life, so you have to do this for yourself. Because no matter what, this is your life. And you have to make the best of it, regardless of the past, of the negativity. Make that negativity and turn it into positivity, and you can do it. Anybody.
Was there an adult in your life who helped you come to this realization that you didn't want to give up, that you wanted to stay in school? that a reality in your situation?
Honestly, my mom. She didn't realize that she was doing it, so I had to tell her. I actually spoke to my mom and told my mom, you know what? Sometimes the negative things, it brings me down, Mom. It makes me feel like giving up. It makes me feel like you don't care, you know? And she apologized, and ever since then, she's been supportive in everything that I do, everything. Like college, high school, everything, like helping me get to school and just everything. Like, she's just been so supportive, and I really appreciate that. So I just feel like if just talk to somebody, you know, anybody, they just talk to somebody. I'm sure they might, maybe they can change the way you think about your life or the future. You never know.
Thank you. What are, if some of the educators could answer this question, what are the obstacles that students face who have dropped out and they want to re-enroll? Is that a difficult process? What are some of the obstacles that stand in their way?
Hello, my name is Courtney Jones again, and I'm with American Youth Works, and I handle our recruitment and enrollment. And a couple barriers that I see for our young people is not having proper documentation, like a birth certificate, social security card, ID. And another thing that I see as an obstacle is being able to obtain a transcript or withdrawal form from their previous school. And if they were receiving any type of SPED services at their previous school, trying to access those documents. So documentation is a big thing. Like, you can't get enrolled into another school without having certain documentation. And so having someone to help them navigate the system of being able to obtain those documents would be very, very helpful.
Is that a reality in our community? I mean, how easy is that for someone to take advantage of if there aren't that many services that help you navigate those documents?
I think that I've been able to establish relationships with other registrars at other schools. So networking and establishing relationships and keeping those relationships will really help the young people, because I believe in the school systems, we really want to make sure that our young people are actually obtaining their education. So just establishing those relationships go a long way.
Are there enough alternative programs like YouthWorks and Garza High School? Are there enough of those in our community?
I think that we do need more programs that exist out there for youth that are at risk, and have more programs that are meeting students where they're at. A lot of our students are homeless and they're couch surfing, and they're having to deal with being pregnant, not having childcare, those different things out there. And I feel like there's limited resources for students that may have additional barriers.
All right, thank you. Any other students in attendance tonight who've dropped out and then gotten back into school? Yes, come on down.
Yes, my name is Michael Gutierrez. I'm with Pace High School. And about my sophomore year, I dropped out of high school. And it was for a lot of reasons, emotional reasons. And when I came back to school, I got a lot of support and I got a lot of help from faculty members at my traditional high school, which was John B. Connolly High School. And I think it feels most of the information that kids need to attend these alternative schools aren't brought to their attention. I feel like it's brought to their attention when it's too late and they feel hopeless and they just want to drop out. And I feel like they should show them options before they drop out, other than dropping out and wasting time. Because that's what happened to me and my sister. And she couldn't enroll back into high school because she aged out. And she wasn't so lucky, so I think it was kind of good that I found who I was and I found what I wanted to do and returned back to high school.
Very good. Thank you for sharing your story with us. One more video to show all of you tonight, and it has to do with we adults in the room. We'd like to figure out how adults can support the students more. And first, we want to hear what our students had to say about that.
My teachers could at least try to make the class more fun. And my family members, I think they could just cheer for me.
No homework.
I feel like my parents should understand that it's not as easy to do homework as soon as I get
home, they can be behind you, telling you to stay doing what you're doing.
Just keep pushing me, you know, be hard on me, keep me going.
Just keep on pushing me.
Being pushed further just means having an extra sort of support for your goals and, you know, your aspirations in life.
My parents motivate me to come to school every day.
My mom supports me. She watches my daughter while I go to school, and yeah.
They want a better life for me, and they don't want me to be like them, like have a better job and live a better future.
Make the kids feel like they're at home, safe.
Really, they actually have did all they really can do to support me in my education. I'm graduating this year. So really, they did all they can do, now it's up to me.
If one person can do it, anybody can do it.
I love ending on that positive note. As one person can do it, anybody can do it. Maribel RJL is back with us for the Communities in Schools. Pushing. Now, there has to be different types of pushing. I know as a parent, sometimes pushing, you get a negative reaction from your kids. So guide us through this. What are ways the students that they really did want to be encouraged and pushed by their parents, what do they mean exactly?
I think the young lady that made the comment right before was right on par. I think sometimes it is really hard whenever you have somebody at home, but they might be like, why are you failing a class? Or why aren't you going to school? Instead of being like, hey, how's it going? Or, you know, what are you doing in school? I think having an active participating approach as a parent, I think, is really important, especially at the high school level. You know, when you're a little kid, you know, there's programs and awards, and parents go to that. But once you guys get to high school, I think that there's not as much of that. And I think for the students to really know that education is important. And even if you don't know, like, you should take this class and this is what you should do. Parents don't have to know everything about the education system, but at least showing their kids that this is important and you can do it. You have to keep trying, and I'm going to be here to be your cheerleader, be whatever they need, I think is really, really valuable.
It's more of a motivational push.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Maribel. What students here would like to comment more about that little push from parents? Yes. I'm coming your way. Give us your name.
Hello, my name is Shamoye Ray, and I go to LBJ High School. I feel like parents could support you more by, like, you know, like being, I don't know, like coming, like, you know, to school and everything with you and stuff to check on you or something like that. You know, just talking to your teachers, not only always, like, you know, complaining about the bad things that go on or something like that. They could help you more. Like, you know, they could also talk to you about that, but, you know, kind of like what she said, find out what's wrong, you know, ask questions.
What doesn't work well to encourage you to be in school? Are there some things that you'd rather people not do?
I would rather, like, parents not, or even teachers not, like, you know, give you a compliment, but also say something negative behind it.
The negativity doesn't help at all.
At all.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to comment about what parents can do? Yes. And tell us where you go to school.
I go to ACC and graduated from McCallum.
Oh, you're a McCallum graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, what are some ways parents, we adults, can encourage you guys?
I think one way that my parents encourage me, is that sometimes you don't realize what your parents do, and sometimes having an adult in your life, not just your parents, and you give them kind of your side of the story. A lot of them open your eyes to what your parents have done. Like my parents migrated here from El Salvador, and that's a huge push they did for me. And sometimes you don't realize it, and you need that extra person to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm. They changed their life so you would have a better education.
So I think it's just about realizing what your parents are doing, and not just only realizing about what they haven't done.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Who else? Yes. Oh, you have somebody right there. Okay, go
I have
for it.
Alexa. She's from Del Valley Opportunity School. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm from Del Valley Opportunity Center, and I took actually a year off from school, medical issues. And I had a lot of support from my friends and family, but coming back to school is very hard. It was hard to stay motivated, and I moved around a lot, so it got even harder to even want to just stay in school. And going to school, I've always liked learning. I always like learning something new and meeting new people. And when I came to Del Valle, it was like all the teachers were always on my case about, hey, you know, get this done. You know, you can do this. If you need to take time to get this done, then we can set aside time. It's really fun because all the teachers are more hands-on. It's a small classroom setting, and if you need extra help, the teacher is there. There's not like 30 kids in one classroom where you're asking a question and he's just like, oh, come to me later, but you know it's never gonna happen. So I just like that the teachers are very supportive. They always keep me on my case. I have teachers who are like, you know, you need to get this done. And then I have teachers who are like, come on, sweetheart, we can do this. We can sit down and I'll help you, show you how to do it and everything. And I just love it.
Wonderful. We love to hear that you love it. I'm here with Sterling Magruder, who is the principal at Gus Garcia Middle School. And you have some things to add about what adults can do to help students stay motivated about school.
You know, I think one thing that adults can do is give students choices. If the students want to do something at the school, let them do it. You know, last year our kids wanted to start a drum line, so we started a drum line. Whatever kids want to do at school that's going to be a positive influence on the school, let them do it, let them be a part of it, because the more students are actively engaged in things that they want to do that are positive, then the more that they'll want to come to school. So when they're actively engaged in fine arts, PE, athletics, then the academics, it makes the academics a lot better. So keep them actively engaged in school, where the schools need to do that. So whatever it is the kids want to do, let them do it. You know, just listen. That's all I've got to say. Just listen to the
Listen.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great advice. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Hi there. I'm Denise Hernandez. I'm a mentor for Con Mi Madre. I'm also a local attorney. One thing I think that adults can do is definitely become a mentor. You know, get involved, give back to the community, because there's someone who might have been in your position. For example, I'm a first-generation college graduate, first person in my family to go to law school, first person who's a lawyer in my law school. My dad dropped out of high school at the age in the 9th grade. My mom didn't complete high school. And so I knew that I needed to find a mentor to kind of guide me through that process. And I found a similar program as Con Mi Madre. And when I got to that point where I could give advice, I became a mentor myself. And I think it's important to do that because as we continue to hear here, a partnership and a relationship is necessary to help the growth of a student. And so just becoming a mentor, listening, giving back can make that much of a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Charles Gurley from Travis High School. And my motivation will probably have to be my family. Like my brothers around me, they never completed high school. Always in and out of jail, stealing, partying, coming home late, giving my mom a hard time. And I know she didn't complete high school as well. So seeing her work 2 jobs, same as my stepdad, they're never there. So for me, it's all about my grades, me coming, and my coaches supporting me. My coaches, my teachers, my counselors, they're always there. Like football related, my own, whenever I got injured in a scrimmage we had, my own family wasn't even there for me at the hospital. It was more of my coaches. So they build like a trust with me. And that's why I continue to be in school, because I have some of my coaches as my teachers. So they help me push through it, and like being in a sport actually helps me focus on my grades and getting higher than my brothers.
And I bet you're on par to graduate, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
What grade are you in?
I am a junior.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. I think we have another one here, Ronald.
I'm Nana Kamak from Travis High School, and one thing that kind of impacts the way we feel about school and learning is the homework sometimes is too much and it overwhelms us, and then it kind of discourages us to keep going. And like we have 8 classes a day, and we have like after school extracurricular activities, and that kind of is a lot on the student, and I feel like they should kind of pull back on as much homework as they give to the students. And
I noticed that on our poll results, it says pick one thing that causes you to lose interest in a class or in school overall. Too much homework was second to boring classes. Thanks. Oh gosh, we have so many. Yes, stand up right here.
Hello, I'm Christian Hernandez. I'm a sophomore at Lanier High School, and I guess one motivation for me would be my mentors, Ms. Woody right here and Ms. Melissa up there, and they really motivated me a lot. And like, I don't know, to me, when I first started high school, I thought I was like, man, this ain't for me. I'm gonna drop out for sure. And then I don't know, I got to this point where I was just talking to them every day, and then. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No, you're doing great.
Like, I don't know, I started talking to my parents more just because, like, I got more motivation from my teachers and my mentors, and, like, for some reason I feel like, man, high school is just it's an obstacle for me now. It's not something I'm not going to finish. It's not something I'm going to quit. It's something I'm going to get through no matter what. And college is another obstacle towards my life, and on the cool, and I really appreciate them, my mentors, my parents, my teachers, to make me realize that high school just, is not a place where you just go, sit down, and just slack off or something. It's a place where you learn something. It's a place where you see how life is, and it's like just little of it, and then that's it. Yeah.
Tiffany, stand up. You stay here. I see you. This has to make you proud.
It does. It really does. I've known him a little over a year now, and to hear him say those things, it really touches me. And I'm glad that I was able to be a support system for you, Christian. And I know you'll grow up and do great things in life.
Appreciate that, ma'am.
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, we have a student from Austin Can Academy. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Carla Macias, and I'm from Austin Can Academy. Personally, I dropped out of school for about 4 months because I used to go to an ISD school, and it wasn't working out for me. I just felt like there was nobody there for me. Nobody ever noticed when I show up when I didn't. One day I show up and I was withdrawn from school. I just show up and they were like, oh, well, you're not on my roster anymore. Just go to the front office. So I went to the front office, and next thing you know, they were like, oh, well, since you didn't show up for a week, you got withdrawn. So just go home. And after that, nobody ever noticed what happened to me, I guess. And I started looking into getting to another school, and I got into Austin Can Academy. And once I got in there, the first day I was missing, they were already calling me. Where are you? Why aren't you not in school? And it's like, we get one advisor we have 5 advisors in our whole school. And we're not that many students. We're like 300 students. And it's like you have one person that is calling you and texting you, like when you're like 5 minutes late or you're just not making it. So it's something that I feel like it's what pushed me into staying into school, into like seeing me like actually having somebody there, like actually telling me, hey, where are you? I guess somebody caring. And I feel like that's something that we all need. Somebody to be there and push us, and that's something my school has given me, and I really appreciate that from it, and I feel like that's what we all need. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Thank you. I'm here with a teacher, JJ Cabrera from Del Valley, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ojeda Middle School.
And tell us about some ways that you try to keep your students involved and engaged.
Absolutely. So one of the things I think everybody hasn't talked about tonight is technology. It's crazy to me that we expect students to go to school for 8 hours a day and not be on their cell phones when adults can't do it in meetings. I go to
or in their cars. They have to, yeah.
Absolutely. Even some of the adults in here today have checked their phones. So I think as educators, we need to remain relevant. We need to step into technology. We need to have things that include Chromebooks. There's Google Classrooms. If you don't have access to that, I think a way to reduce those boring classrooms is to have students talk. put them in small group discussions, have them do something different. As an educator, I personally despise getting up in front of the class and teaching for more than 10 to 15 minutes. It's boring to me. If I'm getting bored, I know my students are getting bored. So we got to make it fun. We got to make it people want to come to school and stop thinking of students as, oh, they're kids. They're not kids. They're young adults, and let's treat them like that.
Wonderful. Thank you. We have some students over here. Come on over. Yeah, come right here. Tell me your name.
I'm Laurel Elm. I'm a student at Garza. And, okay, so kind of what you were saying about teachers. Okay, sorry.
Okay, you can look at me. But
Okay, teachers treating students as children doesn't work, because I feel personally I've gone through a lot of things in my life that make me a lot more mature than some adults that I've met. And so I think it just depends on the person and their maturity level. It's not about age. And so I don't think it's fair to go into a school and say, you're 16, you're a kid, you don't know what you're doing, so I'm going to make these decisions for you, and I'm going to tell you what to do with your life, because that doesn't work. And so at Garza, what I've noticed that's different than a traditional high school is that every single teacher there, even if you don't have them as a teacher, like, they care about you. They know your name. They don't treat you like you're a baby. Like, they realize that you're a real person, and they treat you as such.
Very good. We're glad you're motivated to continue your education. Ronald?
All right, here we have Ana Mojica. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
I'm Ana Mojica, and I go to the GPA at Lanier. And I actually dropped out from 2 schools because I was pregnant. And the first school I went to, they told me, well, I had the papers to prove that I was pregnant. And they told me, since I missed a week of school and I had problems with gallstones, and they told me, well, we didn't need you, we don't want you, in the school, and that, that they didn't have enough room. And then I moved to another school, and there, I was doing fine and everything. I was getting A's, and then the teachers, they were like, well, I moved to night school afterwards. In the day school, I was getting nothing done. They were, students cursing, teachers cursing, playing around. And then at night school, there was one specific teacher that was, seen me walk in. I went, sat down, started doing work. And the teacher was like, well, people who I see pregnant usually drop out of school. And so, that made me think, like, teachers nowadays, they need to motivate. Like, if I had a baby, after I had her, I went back after a week. After a week as she was born, I went back. And, I think that teachers, they should be more supportive. And, my teachers at GPA, they talked to me, they talked to me about the baby. They met her, and so I feel like it's more support, and I feel like, over there I'll actually, become better, for the baby and everything. And they, they let me know, well, you're going to make it, and, it's just better over there, and I have a lot of support, and I honestly think, that's what we need more, is more support.
How old is your baby?
She's going to be 4 months.
And what is her name?
Estella.
Oh, she's beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. First of all, if every educator in the room could stand up, I think that it's not an easy job to educate children, and not children, young adults. And I think that all of you deserve a round of applause. Now, adults sit down, students stand up. Let's give a round of applause to these wonderful young people. You guys have done a tremendous job engaging in this conversation tonight. And do me a favor, let's keep the conversation going. This is so important. Our future is right here in this room, so let's continue to discuss education in the Austin community. That is all the time we have for tonight, and we want to thank everyone for taking part, especially my wonderful co-host, Ronald Elliott. He did a great job. We want you to know this program is part of KLRU's American Graduate Initiative, and this is funded by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. You can find out more about the dropout crisis. You can find resources and recognize people who are working to keep our youth on track to graduate by visiting klru.org, American Graduate. And you can join the conversation on social media anytime by using the hashtag AmGradTX. Thanks for watching. Good night.
My name is Kendrick Washington. My name is Raekwon Ben.
My name is Kyla Ramos.
My name is Gerardo.
Hi, I'm Jorge Sepulveda.
I'm going to explain why young people my age and this generation drop out of high school.
The number one thing that causes me to lose interest in school is I don't have the motivation, or like they don't make it fun for us.
I don't see a point to it.
My name is Crystal, and the number one thing that causes me to lose interest in school is that the work is dumb.
They either are struggling in school or they feel that education to them is worthless.
And the number one thing that causes me to lose interest in school is the STAR test.
School might be hard for them.
And I also work after school, so that makes me think I can't be able to do the work that I need to do in school, so I feel like I can't do it, so I just lose interest.
The number one thing that causes me to lose interest in school is feeling low.
The number one reason people I know drop out of school is because they don't have the support needed to succeed.
Why people drop out of high school is because they don't have enough positive influence and they're usually around a negative type of crowd.
If my parents can't provide me with the support I need, then I feel like school should be there to provide you an escape.
There's a lot of different things in the world that people struggle in, and that is mainly why people drop out.
Civic Summit is made possible in part by Texas Mutual Insurance, providing workers' compensation for Texas employers, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, supporting American Graduate. Let's make it happen, a public media initiative.